a little bit about Nyoka. She is a healthcare veteran that is trailblazing the wellness stage, y'all. She's embracing authenticity and entrepreneurship, and she just has so much goodness to share with us today. So y'all give a warm welcome to Miss Nyoka. Hey.
Thank you so much for having me, Tammy.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are super duper excited to have you. I appreciate you reaching out through the Black Speakers Network. I am truly, truly blessed to have so many wonderful people like yourself joining and, being guest stars on my platform and vice versa.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So, Nyoka, please tell the people about yourself, who you are, what you do, and yeah, all your goodness.
All right, so I am a woman who has migrated to the United States. I migrated to the US when I was a toddler. I was about 3.5 years old. And through that migration, I experienced a lot of trauma, so much so that I had amnesia. I don't remember a lot of my younger years, especially in Jamaica. I forgot all of that because moving away from my family was so traumatic for me. So I spent a lot of time rebuilding memories and rebuilding connection. And I did that in a holistic way. And that opened up the pathway for where I am now as a health and wellness coach. And I'm just embracing the journey. It's been a long one. It's starting from the age of 19 to now, embracing holistic health and wellness. And I'm just blessed to sit where I am right now and look back and say, dang, I came a long way. I really came a long way.
Wow. Well, I absolutely love visiting Jamaica. So, but so we got the Caribbean girl in the building, y'all. My accent is terrible. Uh, so, well, thank you for sharing that. And what made you get into like holistic health and wellness? People hear the phrase. Can you share what it's all about and how you got into it?
All right. So how I got into it was through my traumatic experiences. At the age of 19, I swept a lot of things that happened in my life under the rug. And I didn't pay attention to my emotional health, my spiritual health, my mental health. I paid a lot of attention to physical health because I ran track, I ate good, I was lifting weights, I was doing everything physical, but there were aspects of my health that I was neglecting. And at 19 years old, you know, I had a mental health breakdown. A lot of people call it a nervous breakdown. I just started college. I was a sophomore in college, away from my family, away at school, and things just unraveled for me. And at that point, I stopped sweeping things under the rug and I started addressing these other aspects of my health. So that's when my holistic health journey began. So I started utilizing a lot of cultural medicines, and I started connecting with cultural events like what happens in Jamaica, like Drankuno. I celebrate a lot of the uprisings, recognizing the ancestors and the struggles that they went through in order for me to be here. That opened up the path for me. And then I said, okay, well, since I like this so much, let me do nursing. After a trip to Ghana and experiencing some things that opened my eyes to healthcare, I said, you know what? I want to be a nurse. So I was trained as a nurse. In 2007, I graduated. Even as a nurse, I was still studying holistic health through culture, through herbs, through spirituality. And then nursing took off. And I've been a nurse for almost 20 years, but still in line with that holistic health. And so pivoting to the health and wellness space means that I have more autonomy about what I talk about.
Mhm.
And as a master's prepared registered nurse, I like to teach holistic ways of managing all of the 7 dimensions of our health: spiritual
Wow.
health, emotional health, physical health, social health, cultural health. I mean, all of the dimensions, and there are 7 of them. So that's how I ended up where I am now.
Wow. Wow. We love that. And we love to hear that you being a nurse in the medical field and not, steering away from the holistic approach is definitely a plus because, you could be one of those nurses, and we have quite a few that are traditional and just love to subscribe us medicine, just,
Yeah.
for the simplest things. And they don't share with us, holistic ways that we can heal our bodies naturally at home, home remedies and different things like that. What are some of the holistic approaches that you seem to or tend to take when someone is suffering from, like, minor things like common colds, things like that? Are there certain types of holistic approaches to just basic things or things that people can do to kind of keep their system, well, so that they're not always going to the doctor or always taking medicines?
I love this question because a lot of holistic health is about prevention. It's not about curing, right? It's not about treating acute problems. It's about a lot of preventative health. So what I like to do is make tonics, especially for my family, and for those people who I serve, to help them build up their immune system, or to help them build up the spiritual barriers that you need to have up for protection. And so I would say definitely utilizing tonics that you would drink every day. I don't want to give any specifics because everyone's health is different. And it's not about saying, oh, this works for this and this works for that. It's really about what works for you, because what works for one person may not work for someone else. A lot of these things work for me, and I share what works for me. And if it's in alignment with you, then by all means, utilize it. But I don't like the one size fits all. That's not what holistic health is all about. It's about a diverse way of caring for people that you love.
I love that. I love that. And we see more people going the holistic way. There's like a huge influx of people since COVID that are, I mean, we are truly now like, okay, I need to put some good stuff in my body and keep it well all the time.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so with that, do you have a clinic, personal clinic, or how do you meet with clients that don't come to where you work, to serve them in the community?
Okay, so I usually do an array of things. I like to facilitate small and large groups, and do a lot of interactive activities with the groups, just building awareness around holistic health and how diverse it can be. Because I think a lot of us have these blinders on about health, and we need to tear those blinders and those barriers down and build a whole new concept of what health means to each and every one of us, right? So I like to facilitate small groups, large groups. I also invite people to one-on-one coaching and group coaching. Of lately, I've also stepped into the arena of prosthetics, and that is a holistic health care practice. We don't look at it like that though, but when I see people come in and utilize prosthetics, it does something for their confidence. It does something to help them feel whole again after a part of them has been taken away. And what I'm talking about mostly are mastectomies, bilateral or unilateral. So that's another aspect of holistic health. Another way that I'm tapping into holistic health is also through chronic care management. And so, people who go to their physicians and the physician says, well, take X, Y, and Z. On the other side, as a healthcare professional, I'm able to say, here are some other modalities that can help you. For example, Qigong can help. For example, music in terms of drumming, music,
Mm.
yeah, music in terms of, a lot of people are doing sound bowls now. Those are
Mhm.
effective holistic healthcare practices that we can integrate for people who have to manage chronic illness. Because for them, that's where their health is right now. And they have to operate from that level, not from a level of what healthy looks like for an average person. See, air quotes, but what health looks like for them at this moment in time.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's interesting that you mentioned like the prosthetics. I'm a breast cancer survivor and I did do a bilateral mastectomy. Yeah, it's so crazy. I didn't do prosthetics. I did another procedure where I did replacement surgery, and I totally get, the idea of, prosthetics and having that whole, it makes you feel whole, like, and I can understand the need for that. And, not just by understanding it mentally,
Woo!
but physically and experiencing it myself. So
I'm
I know
getting
what it
chills.
is.
I'm getting chills as you're talking because I didn't know this about you. I
Yeah.
didn't know. So here it is. It's like a full 360 moment. I love these.
Yes, yes. So yes, and it's again being authentic and just talking. It,
Yeah.
it, it brings out all types of stuff, right?
Yeah. Another thing is authorship. So inside of this book,
Yes.
Courageous Pursuit of Authenticity, I co-authored this book with 7 other women who talk about their pursuit of being authentic and what feels right for them and what allows them to go on in life. Your authenticity allows you to be present in this life and to live inside of your body. And so authorship is also another holistic health practice that I have embraced, and I really welcome everyone else to also embrace. Write your stories,
Mm,
share your stories, let people know that what they're going through is not just something that's happening to them. I talked with someone before not too long ago, and they were like, well, this is only happening to me. And I wanted to say, if you only knew
right.
how many people I talk to that
Mhm.
share the same experiences that you share, you wouldn't say that you're alone. Yes, we're
Yeah.
unique. As
Yes.
human beings, we are unique, but there's nothing new under the sun. Trust and know that
That's right.
somebody else is going through what you may be going through.
That's right. And so, what's the name of your book? Can you
It's
hold it up again?
It's called The Courageous Pursuit of Authenticity, and it's available online on my website, on my shop.
Okay.
I can provide the
Please share the link.
website.
Yes. Put it in the comments so people can definitely purchase it directly from you.
Will. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So, what would you say in this whole holistic wellness approach is like your greatest success thus far?
My greatest success thus far is coming outside. Listen, there's a time in my healthcare career that I worked from home. And for 10 years, I'm inside of an office managing my children and the household and just kind of being in our own world and our own bubble. And when I decided to take on entrepreneurship, I had to come outside. And I really mean I had to come outside.
I love it.
Let people know that I'm here. I had to let people know, like this, like on a podcast, what I do, how I do it, because I do have a message to share. And the only way that it's going to get out there is if I say it. So, my greatest success is not being afraid anymore to say what I have to say. My greatest success is coming outside and sharing who I am. Some people, they're like, oh, you're too much. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just enough for those who need me. I'm
That's right.
just enough for those who need me. So, just stopping that, not hiding anymore, being
That's right.
present and comfortable in my skin. That's my greatest success right now.
I love that. I love that, y'all. Y'all know we talk about being inspired 24/7 here on the gym, y'all. And we are feeling very inspired by Miss Nyoka. Listen, we are excited to continue this conversation. I want to hear from you about if you could go back in time to your 18-year-old self
Oh
and
man.
give yourself some advice, what would it be? Knowing what you know today.
You know what I would tell my 18-year-old self? Be you, ma. Be you.
Mm-hmm.
Be don't be swayed by what other people like. Stand up for what you like. Stand up for what you love. You don't have to go with the crowd. You don't have to do what everybody else does. You are so unique that you just need to be you.
Mm.
That's what I would tell her. I would tell my 18-year-old self.
Be you. Yeah, I heard it. Be you.
Mhm.
And 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 then if you could have coffee with anybody, any historical figure, we all have people that we look up to and we say, I wish, oh man, I could sit down with so and so. I would say so much. And if you could, who would it be and what would you talk about?
It's funny because before we went live, I told you, I read these questions and
And
I
it
was
was like,
this was one of the questions I read, and I was like, oh snap, how would I answer this if she asked me? And interestingly enough, I saw Toni Morrison
oh,
in
yes.
my mind. And I'm gonna tell you why. She was a single mother. She worked full time, and she was able to write books that changed people's lives. Like, how did you do that? I mean, I want to hear from you. What inspired you? I read that she was up late at night while her children slept and she still had to go to work. I'm just like, I want to know, I want to tap into that spirit. I want to tap into that that drive that she had to write these books and still raise a family and still work full time. And I want to sit down and I want to talk to her about the real to real. That's what I want to do.
I love that. I love that. And us moms, we be like, how you do all that?
You do
I,
all that.
listen, and we think we doing something because I know I'll be like, I'm a multitasker, mega tasker, but I
Listen,
still feel like I'll be like, oh my goodness, there's people that do way more than what I'm capable of. And I'm like, man, you got some
and
energy.
it speaks to a lot of things. It speaks to capacity. It's
Mm-hmm.
the type of support system that you have around
Yeah,
because a lot of people don't see the support system.
that's
They
right.
only they only see what's in the forefront. But when you look at it, if you have a mom that's supportive, if you have a dad that's supportive, an extended family, aunties, uncles, I think that's how people do it. There's
Mm-hmm.
support system, and you don't really hear about that. So I would love to hear what Toni Morrison's support system looks like
Yeah.
and how she managed it all. Because my mom tells me, I don't know how do you do all the things that you do? And I'm just like, Mom, a part of it is because I have a fire in my heart. I have a passion in my heart. Some people will call it a ministry,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't rest unless I say what's on my heart. And so this is me saying what's on my heart.
I love it. I love it. When you reached out to me, I was like, man, this is a different perspective. Holistic health, wellness, just being your authentic self. And it's a theme. Like people want to feel better. People want to, be better inside and out, right? People are, really focused on spirituality and just overall total wellness. You named the seven. Can you name the seven again so that people can really
Okay.
understand?
Yes, it's physical health, emotional health, social health, cultural health. Did I say uh I'm sorry, physical health, emotional health, social health, mental health, uh um emotional, I said emotional 5 times. But I'm gonna tell you, them all. Go ahead and ask me another question if you need to.
That's okay. I want to ask if there's any other podcasts right now that you are watching, and if so, what are they? And what inspires you to watch those particular podcasts?
I read this question too. There's a there's there. I love Yassine B, formerly known as Mos Def, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has a podcast with Talib Kweli and David Chappelle called
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called the Midnight Masqueraders or something like that. It's on
Okay.
Blueberry, and I enjoyed listening to their perspectives.
Yeah.
I love Amanda Seals'
Oh yeah.
podcast.
Yes, I love Amanda Seals.
Yeah, I love her podcast as well. And when Michelle Obama was doing her podcast,
Mm-hmm.
I also enjoyed that podcast.
Oh
So
wow. I didn't
yeah,
even know she had a podcast.
yeah, she had a mini podcast with a few episodes.
Wow.
Every Wednesday, I would listen in because she's a very dynamic and profound woman.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are like, oh, she's uppity. No, her experiences are profound. She's sharing her story. She's telling us things that we may never hear because she was the first African American first lady. She's the
Right.
first one, and so she has a dynamic perspective. And I loved the things that she talked about.
Wow, wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. And people definitely go on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all those other platforms and check them out. So you can definitely, expand your your repertoire of podcasts that you're watching and listening to. So in addition to that, I want to talk about gems that people have dropped in your life from childhood up until now. What are some of the gems that people have shared with you that really resonate with you, and even to this day are gems that you just like hold on to and they inspire you to be the best version of you?
One of the gems that stand out in my mind is people always tell you who they are. It's up to you to study them, understand it, and then utilize that information to your benefit. And Dr. Robert Bassel used to say that to me all the time. He's a psychiatrist, but I'll tell you, he's more of a holistic healthcare practitioner than a psychiatrist. He takes a very interesting stand on psychiatry and culture, one of the dimensions of health that we talk about. And so he stands strong in that. And he used to tell me that all the time. He would say, Nyoka, people tell you who they are. It's up to you to pay attention and utilize that information to inform your decisions moving forward.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So are there any gems that you would drop with people today that you want them to like take these gems with you besides the ones that were shared with you?
So one of the reasons why I embrace holistic health so much is because it's an avenue for us to overflow our cups.
Yeah.
Not fill them.
That's right.
Overflow them. Because really what you want to do is give from your overflow. Your full cup is for you. Your full cup is filled with your passions, with your desires. It's filled with things that you have learned, the lessons that you have learned in your life, the knowledge that you have collected and gathered. It's the overflow of that we share with everyone else. And so I think that's the gem that I would want to leave with everyone is make sure you fill your cup and then overflow that cup so that you can give to all of those that you love.
Wow. Yeah, that overflow is important, y'all, because then you keep your cup full, right? I love that. I love that. If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
If I could be remembered, I thought about this one too. When I was reading it, I was like, dang, suppose she asked me this question. How am I answer this one? This is a challenging one for me to answer because I'm young, 45 years old. I'm just starting my life. People
Yes. I'm there with
People,
you.
it's real. Like you
Yep.
really start living in your 40s.
I know.
And
I'm 43. I get you, girl. I get.
yeah,
I'm there with you.
and no one knows when their time will be up. And so, for me,
Yes.
I'm just, I don't know what there's so many possibilities left
Mhm.
in life for me to say. But today,
Mhm.
um, I would say I would want to leave the fact that your past does not have to define your future. I did a lot of messed up things in my life. You see me sitting here, I did a lot of things in my life that I'm not necessarily proud of, but I'm not going to make that define me.
That's right.
That's just a small part. A lot of people will say that's just the chapter in the book of your life,
That's right.
And so don't I want to be known from not I want to be known for not allowing my past to define who I am. There's many aspects to who I am, and I want to be known as someone who cares for people, respects people, and can leave a legacy of honor for those who come behind me.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Yeah. And, you said something important about not letting our past define us, but letting it just be a learning experience, a chapter in our book. And we just continue to progress forward. And I'm right there. We at the center of our, I don't know if it's the center, but we at the midpoint where it feels good to be here, right? In this place of our lives. We're close, we're almost the same age. And when I say it feels really amazing to be at this point of our lives because we have so much to look back over, but we have so much, hopefully, prayfully, that we can look forward to. And in this chapter of your life, what are some of the things and the projects that you're working on? I know being a nurse, it keeps you busy enough, but I see on your social media, I see you doing like women's event. I see speaking again. I'm like, okay, she got a lot going on. So I want to hear from the source. Like, what are some projects and events and all types of stuff you got going on? Because I'm like, what's that?
Well,
Invite me.
and it's really about becoming more visible in order
Yeah.
to grow my business and
Mhm.
serve people the way that I want to serve people, right?
Yes.
So what you're seeing on social media is me coming outside and being unapologetically who I am and saying, hey, I've been through some things in my life. I've gathered this body of knowledge in my life, and I'm ready to support you if you are willing to be supported.
That's
I'm
right.
willing to help you through healthcare journeys that I've personally been through.
Yeah.
Right? I'm ready to show you holistically how you can address things and transform. I've in the coaching space, they talk about I'm a transformational coach and these types of things. What I've been through in my life is
That's
transformational.
right. That's right.
But I've been through, so I'm a living example of what transformation looks like. And it's not about perfection. Never that. It's
Mhm.
never that. It's
Yeah.
about being who you say you are on
That's
the inside and on the outside. Every walk that you walk, your talk can back it up. Your actions, you back it up. So we are all multifaceted, but there's a common thread, that leads in our life. And we want that to be authentic. So, I'm out here doing things like these podcasts. I'm out in the community here in Montgomery, Alabama, talking about mental health
yeah.
and sharing my mental health story with
Yes.
people and raising their awareness about holistic health, encouraging them to embrace it because we've been taught as
Yeah.
people of African descent that you
Mhm.
don't mess with that.
That's so true.
You don't
Yeah.
need to go back there. But what we
Yeah.
need to understand is that there's valuable information there. I
Mhm.
talk about Sankofa all the time.
Oh, Sankofa. Yeah.
Go back and fetch it. Go back
Mm-hmm.
things that are like tested, approved, trusted,
Yes.
and use them for the future and the present, and even mold them even more. You innovate on top of them
That's
and
right.
see what else you can bring. What's your take? What's your spin to expand that knowledge? Because time is not going to end with us. It's going to keep going and going and going. And so we have to be able to gift the generations something. I talk about in my program, I talk about tradition, and I
Yeah.
talk about reverberation.
Mhm.
There's some of the pillars that Sankofa has brought to us. And I want to make sure that everyone who's willing to learn those pillars can learn them and integrate them into their lives, not just for now, but for their children and their grandchildren, really laying the foundation for tradition.
I love that. I've heard April Mason call that a love legacy. And that love legacy, again, it gets passed down from generation to generation. It's not money, but it's a love legacy that, it could be in your family for, generations to come.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the
yeah,
wealth. That's the
that's
wealth.
real wealth. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And watching you again on social media and things, I just see how much you inspire, motivate people, and you tap into, you know, who you like, the essence of who you are. I can tell that it comes from that authentic self. How do you center yourself around authenticity and being just who you are naturally, no matter who's in the room, right? How do you do that?
You know, it's funny that you asked me that question because there's a tendency, because I'm an educator, and I was educated here in the Western world, right?
Mhm.
And there's a way to educate here in the Western world, and because those are the institutions that I was raised through, I
Mhm.
tend to sometimes when I'm presenting fall into that lecturer type of authenticity. I mean, it's authentic. That's what I learned. But then there's another aspect of me that's more interactional. And there's an interaction there. There's an aspect of me that dances and that sings.
Yes.
That moves with spirit. And so what I've learned to do is fuse them both because
Mhm.
they're both useful. One overflows my cup, and the other one facilitates me connecting with people on a level that they're familiar with. So,
Yeah.
in this dynamic me, right, you find that a Juvenile song might pop out, I might back it up. But then again, you might hear some Miriam Makeba going on. My playlist is wild.
Yes. Yes.
My playlist is wild. The other day I posted, you know, we girls that love Sade, but we
Yeah.
love the kete drum at the same
Yes.
time, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I say it's that authenticity. I can't hide from it because at
Yeah.
any time I try to subdue that side of me that loves
Mhm.
African ancestry, they say no, honey.
The ancestors be like,
No, ma'am. We're not going to do that. Yes, we placed you here for you to learn how it functions over here, but don't think that that's all of you.
right.
It's not all of you. Let's make sure that we represent
Yes.
in a way, that is beautiful.
That's right.
Yeah, in a way that people look and say, "What's she doing?" Because that's what's happening. And I can honestly say it's because I embrace all the aspects of who I am,
Mhm.
not just the African ancestry, because I
That's
got
right.
I got that, Caucasian going on. My grandfather, yeah, he
Yeah.
was
Well.
my great grandfather was a white man.
Mm.
And so we have this mix going on, and I wouldn't be my authentic self
Mm.
if I didn't embrace it all.
That's right.
And that's called love.
That's right. That's
So
right.
I have to love me. I can't be fighting inside of me.
Mhm.
I can't fight inside of me, because then that's what's going to come out. You're going to see that fight outside. So if you look at me and you see love, it's because I'm at peace with who I am, and all the parts of me connect through the source of love.
I love that. I love that. And I hear you talking about spirit and the ancestors and things like that. I don't want to speak for you, but can you tell people, about your spirituality, your beliefs, and, kind of like where that comes from, and, what is it that you believe?
Well, you are not shy, are you? You, that question was not on the list, ma'am.
We said we was gonna freestyle a little bit.
I love it. I love it, though. I love this conversation. So,
yes.
Spiritually, I embrace Akom. Akom has its origins in Ghana, West Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And so while I was in nursing school studying to be a nurse, I was also training and studying in the tradition of Akom. So when I graduated nursing school in 2007, I also graduated from the primary level of Akom. So as I grew in my nursing, I've also grown in my post studies inside of Akom. So we travel to Ghana very often. And now I'm also traveling to Tanzania, because what I've learned is a lot of our ancestors, not a lot, but there are ancestors that were taken from East Africa and transported over, to the diaspora. And just like how there are places like the dungeons in Ghana, there are dungeons in Tanzania, in Zanzibar as well. And so there is this connection that I have with the continent, and a lot of it is bring our children home. So I also host wellness tours to help people make those connections to Africa, whether it is through Ghana or whether it is through Zanzibar. Zanzibar is a lot of people know Ghana already, so I don't really want to, dive so deep into Ghana. But in Zanzibar, it's very similar to the Caribbean. It's very similar to Jamaica. And what I've learned is there are ancestors that were taken from there and taken to the Caribbean. And so you'll find some undercurrents there. The spices that we use, when we visit the spice farm, I'm just like, oh, snap, we have that. We know that. Yeah, we use that in Jamaica. And so it's not too far fetched. It's not too far, the connection. It's not a what they say, it's not a reach.
Right.
It's not a reach. It's really like, wow, we are really connected. And it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to watch it unfold. So to leave the stresses of the United States and go to places like Zanzibar and Dar es Salaam, we went on safari. And there are places in Ghana as well that you can do the same things, but it's leaving the stresses of the Western world and immersing yourself in, the East. It's very uplifting.
I said one day I just got to overcome that long flight, because the way my
Well, look at it like
it's too hard.
Ancestors didn't take a flight, Tammy.
Yeah,
they didn't take a flight. It didn't take 9 hours.
Right.
Yeah, Ghana is 9 hours straight from JFK. And the trip to Tanzania from Atlanta, you stop in like Addis Ababa, and then you go on. I mean, you're there in less than a day. Our ancestors didn't come over here in a day.
Right.
So for me, I'm trying to help people to see that's not a true barrier.
Right. That's right, girl. Break down my barriers. Be like, stop that. Stop that. Come on now.
We're really having an authentic.
That's right. So how can people, like, if they're interested in setting up a coaching session with you, just to kind of get an idea of, how they can have more of a holistic lifestyle with the seven different, areas of holistic wellness, how can they do that with you? How can they schedule some time? Because, my session just started just now with us breaking.
Well, I'm gonna say jump on my calendar. I don't know if you
Yes.
see the comments that I'm putting
Yeah.
in the.
Oh, yes.
Okay, jump on my calendar. Just set up time with me. I would love to get to know you, to get to know where you are on your journey, to see, if we're a match, because I'm not for everybody. I recognize that. That's a tough pill to swallow when you are used to pleasing people,
Yeah.
It's or wanting everybody to like you. Like this is where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah.
And so when you get to a point where you're just like, it's okay, just jump on my calendar. I would love
Mhm.
to see if we gel. I would love to see if, a relationship can be fostered and if I can support you in your health and wellness journey.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. Well, I'm gonna jump on your calendar, girl. Don't tell nobody. Oh, y'all still listening?
Tammy, you a mess.
I'm a mess, y'all. Only on the gym. Only on the gym, honey. Listen, where can my listeners find you? I mean, we have had such a pleasure to have you be a guest star here on the gym, and everybody gonna be like, "Where that girl at? How can I find her?" Other than them, finding you through your calendar, how else can they find you on social media and other outlets?
All right, I'm on Instagram as holistic7HW. You can find me on Facebook with my whole name, Nyoka Samuels Gilchrist. Like my whole comment, Nyoka Samuels Gilchrist. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. You can search Nyoka Samuels Gilchrist. Where else am I? I'm on TikTok. That place.
TikTok. You on TikTok?
I'm on TikTok, and I found you on TikTok. You know what? And I do believe it's holistic seven healing, holistic
Yeah.
seven HW
Yeah,
there
it
on
is.
TikTok as well.
Mhm.
And where else? And my website. Those
Yeah.
those are the places where you can find me.
Awesome. Awesome. Any other gems or anything you want to drop, for our viewers?
You know what I want to say? I just want to say, don't be afraid to embrace who you are. We are beautiful beings, and the way that we maximize our life is to just accept who we are. And everything kind of falls into place after that. After that, everything starts to align. Everybody talking about alignment now, but really, really, everything starts to align. You embrace the parts of you, like I said, maybe I'm not proud of those things, but you still embrace those things because they made me who I am today. I can speak from this vantage point because of those things. I'm able to speak from this vantage point because of the challenges that I faced, because of the traumas that I've overcome. So, don't be afraid of who you are. Embrace who you are, and you'll see everything else will fall into place.
I love that. I love that. And I am so grateful to have you here today on the Gym, Nyoka. You have literally blessed us with your amazing presence. We thank you for spirit operating around and through us, because we definitely, and if most, oh, I don't say most, I definitely can appreciate that, the ebb and flow of spirit, and I just appreciate you teaching us more about holistic health and a bigger picture. People just think, oh, holistic is, oh, isn't it like natural health? Yes, natural,
Yeah,
but
it's like
there's so
drinking
much to it.
soursop juice, and
Right.
it's go ahead and get
Get
some
some herbs.
get some what's the sea moss? Yeah,
Right,
drink
right,
sea moss and drink soursop tea leaf, and
right.
you leaf tea, and you'll be all right. And
I'm
it's
holistic.
so much more than that. It's so
Yeah,
much
it
more than
is.
what you put into your body. It's
Yeah,
what you put into your mind,
that's right.
what you put into your spirit. it. It's what you put into your heart.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much for, again, gracing us with your presence here on the Gem. We truly, truly appreciate you. And thank you all for watching and tuning in.
I hope
Yes.
I wasn't too much.
No, absolutely perfect. We truly, truly appreciate you. You guys can watch it on replay on YouTube, and then you guys can listen on Spotify now, y'all. So y'all give Nayoka a shout out and make sure you guys like, follow, subscribe, hit the notifications so you don't miss nothing, y'all. Y'all keep rocking with the Gem. Have a good night.
Good night, y'all. Tammy, thank you so much for having me.
Likewise, thank you. Take care.
All right.